All right, guys, welcome to Hustlin' with Shane. You might have guessed it, my name is Shane, and this is my new platform, my new channel. If you followed me here from my other channel, Beer Budget Moto, that was and is a automotive slash motorsports based channel where I do how-tos, repairs, modifications, etc. to things like cars, trucks, trailers, motorcycles, equipment, things that I use and have in my life that I want to share any knowledge that I have with you guys about. So if you're new and you haven't come here from that channel, this is my new channel called Hustlin' with Shane, and a brief overview of kind of how we got here and why I'm starting this channel is because I am a entrepreneur and a investor, and I want to grow my own community and join the likes of you folks and anyone else who I can meet and possibly work with, partner with, learn from, teach, etc. So I feel like YouTube's a great way to do that. And recently, the main reason why I'm starting this channel now as opposed to earlier is because just recently I went to part-time at my full-time job. I was working Monday through Friday, anywhere from 40 to 55 hours a week. So kind of the 9 to 5 grind, if you will. And 2 years ago in 2020, shortly after my son was born, I started a business, junk removal business here in southeast Pennsylvania, and I was doing that nights and weekends, and unfortunately it just wasn't really growing, it wasn't really taking off because contractors, real estate agents, etc., they want you to perform work like any other contractor would during business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I couldn't do that because I was at work. A lot of people don't want you showing up at their house at 6 o'clock in the evening to do, to do work, to remove junk from their house. And, they're trying to sit down and have dinner at that point in time, not be worrying about, parading you around the house, pointing out things that they want gone or what have you. So anyway, before I ramble on too much here, the business just wasn't growing because of my lack of availability. So I decided to drop down to 3 days a week at my full-time job, which is now my part-time job. I work a rotating schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday 1 week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the following week. That gives me a 3-day weekend, so to speak, every week. I'm either off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or I'm off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and another day in the week as well. That gives me, the reason I did it that way was to give me availability every day of the week, except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays I'm always at my full-time job, but that gives me Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend off within a 2-week time frame to schedule jobs for my customers. So there are people who I've found that maybe only work 3 or 4 days a week as well, or maybe they work 1 or 2 days a week from home. And if that day that they work from home is Tuesday and I'm never available on a Tuesday, then I'm not going to get that customer. But with a rotating schedule, if I'm able to work, maybe I'm working this Tuesday, but I'm not working next Tuesday, so I can't schedule them this week, I can schedule them next week. So that's the reason that I went with the rotating schedule. And so far I've been doing that for about a month and a half now, and things are working out great. But anyway, the reason that I wanted to start the channel was because if many of you, if you're like me, you've noticed that there's been a pretty drastic change in not so much the work ethic, but the work style, the work options, the income options in the world as of the last 10 years or so, especially the last 5 years, but even the last 10 and possibly 15 years. I myself, I'm 34 years old, and I'm an older millennial, and I've noticed as I've gotten older and as I see people that are my age, older, and especially younger than me, the increase in technology, the lifestyle of having technology and YouTube and cameras on your phone, and the ability to upload and live stream and have work from home, online businesses, stuff like Etsy or reselling on eBay, drop shipping from Amazon, all of that stuff. I mean, this stuff, it didn't exist 15, 20 years ago. It didn't really exist when I was 18 and graduating high school and getting ready for college, because if it did, I can tell you that I would not have gone to college. I would have taken those years after high school where I was living at home rent free, and I would have hustled, and I would have hopefully tried to make things happen much differently and going down a much different path than I have so far in my life. But the reason that I started my junk removal business, the reason that I went down to 3 days a week at my full-time job, the reason that I'm starting this YouTube channel is because I want to experience other income streams. I don't want to have my only income stream be from my day job, my 9 to 5. I do have other income streams. I'm a real estate investor, low on the totem pole. I'm not, I'm not near, Grant Cardone or many of the other YouTubers. I don't own, 100 houses or 50 houses or even 10 houses. But I do have a very small rental portfolio, which has allowed me some freedom in starting a business and being able to cut my hours back at my full-time job and take a risk doing what I'm about to do here. So anyway, I don't want my income to be just from my 9 to 5. I want more than anything, more than money or credit or fame, which honestly I have zero interest in. What I want more than anything is to live comfortably and to live free. And what I mean by live free is I want the ability to plan my life, or I should say, I want the ability to plan work around my life instead of planning my life around work. Like I said, I'm 34 years old. I started working a real W-2 job when I was 14 years old. So even though I'm only 34, I've been working for someone else for the last 20 years of my life, and it feels like an eternity already, and I've got another 30 years to go. Traditionally speaking, if I were to work till I'm 64 or 65 years old and wait to retire, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm tired of missing out on events and having to schedule doctor's appointments and real estate meetings and showings and oil changes on a vehicle or any of that stuff. Just normal day-to-day stuff that we need to make appointments for and have time in our day for. I'm always scheduling that stuff around work. And it's difficult. And if you can't schedule it around work, then you've got to ask your boss to come in late or to leave early or to skip out for 2 hours in the middle of the day and then drive back to work, and then you've missed out on a few hours of pay if you're an hourly employee, right? There's always a downside to not physically being at work, and to be honest, I'm pretty tired of that, and I don't mean that in a lazy way, in a I don't want to work anymore kind of way. I enjoy working, and I will always, God willing, work probably until the day that I die in some capacity. It's not that I don't want to work, it's that I don't want to live my life, the majority of my life, around someone else's schedule, around a company's schedule, around my boss's schedule, around customer's schedule. I want to have things in place that, maybe I don't start working until noon, and then I work till dinner, and then I take a few hours off in the evening to go out to eat with my family and play with my son and put him to bed, by 8 o'clock, and help him with his homework beforehand, and then maybe I work for a few more hours after that before I go to bed. I want that sort of flexibility. I want that sort of freedom, and I think a lot of you do too. So I want to get away from the traditional 9 to 5. I want to get away from feeling like my life is not my own. I feel like all I do is work for money, and all of my money disappears to basic necessities, housing, food, electricity, heat, air conditioning, vehicle maintenance, tires, brakes, repairs, just basic stuff. And I know there's people that don't have a roof over their head or a car to drive. I understand that, but that's few and far between here. So for any of you watching, I'm sure that you have you either rent an apartment or you own a house or own multiple houses. I'm sure that you have a car, no matter if it's a $500 hoopty or it's a $100,000 Ferrari. The point is, if you're anything like me, if you're middle class, I would even consider myself lower middle class in today's standards. You work Monday through Friday, X amount of hours. Some of us are even working Saturdays, and you're left with maybe a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 at the end of every month to live your life, to save for a vacation, to go to the movies, to buy the clothes that you want, to modify your car that you have, to save for retirement, to save for your next home or your next big purchase, a new TV, a new bed, whatever the case may be. Again, if you're like me, you just kind of feel like you're getting lost and just time is just slipping away, because you're just working to pay bills, to work to pay bills, and you have limited time to enjoy your money, and you have limited money to enjoy your time, and make the most of your time, and that is extremely frustrating, especially nowadays when you can get on YouTube or you can get on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and you can see people that are making six figures, well into the six figures, some seven figures, not really working at all. I mean, making content, making videos, yes, I'm not downgrading that as work. It is work, and it's time consuming, and it's a skill. It really is. But what I mean by they're not working is they're not getting up and not going to the office. They're not listening to a boss. They're not sitting in rush hour traffic, because they can make videos or do what they're doing 24/7. If they want to do it in the evening on their computer at home, they can. And they can sleep till noon the next day if they want to. They can make videos and content and newsletters and create websites, etc. They can do that from the beach in the Bahamas, or they can do that from the ski lodge in Colorado. They can be out doing what they want to do, sitting in new places, trying new food, new restaurants, new shops, fancy hotels. They can be doing all of that, which most of us would consider a vacation. They can do that. They can work while they're doing it. Most of the things that they do then become tax write-offs, and they're making great money doing it. So, again, you got to ask yourself, why, unless you really truly enjoy your job, why do you want to get up, fight traffic, get to work, listen to a boss, be bored, be unfulfilled, be underpaid, undervalued, 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, and for what? To live for your Saturday, be depressed on Sunday that tomorrow is Monday and you've got to start all over again. I mean, this is a cycle that's been going on for decades, and it's depressing. It really is, for me anyway. So I feel like in today's day and age, if you have any desire to do more and to break out of that cycle, then you should. And I feel like there's 100 ways, if not 1,000 ways, to do that, depending on what your skills and what your interests are. So I mentioned earlier that I have another channel. It's called Beer Budget Moto. Beer Budget Moto basically means, if you've heard the saying, I've got a beer budget but champagne taste. That's where the beer budget came into play. So I have champagne taste in things like cars and boats and motorcycles and stuff like that, power sports related things. But I've got a beer budget. I don't have a lot of money to buy those things. I want a nicer truck. I want a new car. I want a boat. I want a new Harley. I want a lot of these things. I can't afford it, right? So Beer Budget, Beer Budget Motorsports, Beer Budget Moto, where the name came from. And I am showing what I have so far, which is not a lot, but might be a good bit to some of you. And I'm trying to build on that and grow that, but this channel is going to be about how I'm planning to build on that, how I'm planning to grow on that. That channel is about the things that I really enjoy, the things that I want to in the future spend my money on, because those are my hobbies, those are my passions, motorsports related things. I'm just really into that. I'm not a big sports guy. I'm more into cars and some racing and just building and working with my hands and customizing my own stuff for the way I want it, and then going out and showing it off a little bit at a car show or something like that. So anyway, this channel is going to be directed towards how I'm hoping to get away from the 9 to 5, get myself and my family out of the rat race, how I plan on learning and teaching myself and maybe some of you, and learning from some of you, so that I can pass down skills and values and a mindset and hopefully money as well, and assets to my son, so that he can ultimately have a better life than myself, and have that life starting at a much younger age. I mentioned earlier I'm 34 years old. I already feel like time is slipping away from me. I feel like, and it's easy to do when you get online and you see 19-year-olds or 25-year-olds with millions of dollars in the bank already. It's easy when you're in your mid-30s to feel like you're behind the 8 ball, right? And I'm not poor by any means. I'm definitely lower middle class, but I feel like the world is just passing me by. I feel like every time I turn around, a friend or an acquaintance, a Facebook friend of mine, is getting this or doing that or going there or accomplishing this, and I just feel like I'm not. I just feel like I'm just doggy paddling, trying to stay afloat, trying to survive, and I feel like my mindset and my knowledge is higher than that, and part of the problem is that I'm not really applying myself. I'm not really taking the time and putting in the effort to try to do these things that I know exist and work for other people. And I say to myself, I could do that, but I don't do it. And hopefully this YouTube channel will help kind of keep me committed to trying these things. I'm going to be including some of my junk removal business in this channel. I'm going to be trying different ways of making money, different side hustles, if you will, buying and reselling things online. For instance, going to thrift stores or flea markets or yard sales, finding deals on good clothing or electronics, video games, music or sports memorabilia, stuff like that, turning around, selling it on eBay or something, and making a profit, maybe trying to make a small eBay store that I can do year round, being that my junk removal business is somewhat seasonal. In the wintertime, things are going to slow down and I'm going to need something to carry me financially until the spring. So I'm going to look into stuff like that. I'm going to look into going to storage unit auctions, estate sales, stuff like that, looking for things there that I can buy and purchase for hopefully pennies on the dollar, turn around and resell. I'm going to be going over flipping cars, which is something I've done in the past but haven't been able to do since probably 2020. Car prices have just gotten out of control, even for total junk, just junkyard worthy vehicles. I mean, people want over $1,000 for them. Back before 2020, I used to be able to buy pretty decent vehicles for somewhere between $500 and $1,500 that needed an engine, or they needed a transmission, or they just needed brakes and suspension work. For the person who owned that vehicle to go to the shop and spend thousands of dollars on it just wasn't worth it for them. They'd sell it, they'd go buy something else. But for me, I could buy that car for, let's say, $1,000. I could put $600 or $700 into it, plus some of my time and my knowledge, and I could turn around and sell the car for $3,500 and make $1,500, $1,800 in a couple of weeks' time. That was on top of my 9-to-5 pay, so that was great, right? Well, I'm going to try to get back into doing some of that now that I've got this extra time during the week, and I'm available to snag Craigslist deals, marketplace deals, Facebook offer up, stuff like that. I'm going to be more available and have more time to be able to go snag those deals during the week instead of having to wait for Saturday, which will allow someone else to swoop in and buy it, right? So I'm hoping that I can buy some cars, maybe even some other motorsports related toys, motorcycles, four-wheelers, stuff like that I can buy that's in need of repair that I can fix and turn around and sell for a profit. I'll be documenting some of that, not so much the hands-on part of that on this channel, that would be on my other channel, but the financial side, how the numbers look, and how that breakdown goes will be uploaded onto this channel. I'm going to try to make a run at trying to get one of my two YouTube channels monetized. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm still getting comfortable talking to the camera. I apologize. It looks like my head is blending into the wall behind me. That's because I'm balding, and it just so happens that the lighting in this room makes the wall behind me look almost like my skin color. But anyway, so that being said, I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys would hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're interested in following along. I'm going to try, like I said, to kind of dabble and dip my toes into numerous different side hustles and kind of things that are out of your traditional 9-to-5 that you can use as an additional income stream, or you can possibly use to replace your 9-to-5 and have the freedom that you're looking for. So I'm not looking to become, a mega millionaire. I'm not looking to start a course or sell anybody anything. I literally just want to be able to provide a comfortable living for myself, my wife, and my son, that we have room to breathe, that we have everything that we need with some room to breathe, with some money in the bank, with retirement accounts funded, and just be able to live freely and on our terms, get out of the rat race, get out of working 9-to-5, get out of working for somebody else, taking orders from somebody else all of the time. I want to look into buying more rental properties, possibly some Airbnbs. And another thing that's piqued my interest here lately is buying small, boring businesses like car washes and laundromats, barbershops, anything like that that's might already be here in the small town I live in, that I could buy and just kind of off-site manage, let it run the way that it's been running if it's working, but be the owner, take a percentage of the profits, keep things running smoothly, and just acquire assets and wealth, and therefore freedom. And that is really what I'm looking to accomplish. So anyway, I could go on and on. I will post some updates about just kind of my general feelings and consensus on the world and the economy, and how if you're anything like me, you know, sometimes you just get down and feel lost and overwhelmed with all this money and all this fame and all these young, you know, seemingly wealthy millionaires just floating around in the world and make it look like, you know, making $1 million is a cakewalk and can happen overnight. Many of us know that that's not the case unless you're extremely gifted or very, very lucky. So for the rest of us, we've got to grind it out. We've got to hustle. We've got to find what works for us. We've got to really make those sacrifices and try and do it while working that 9 to 5 to keep a roof over our head and food on the table for our family, right? So anyway, like and subscribe if you want to follow along, if you're interested at all in what I had to say, if any of this resonates with you and you want to see what I try, how it works for me, and maybe then you'll be able to try it for yourself and maybe it will work for you. Maybe things that don't work for me will work for you. So anyway, feel free to follow along. I'm going to try and post here as often as I can. Like and subscribe if you're interested. Appreciate you supporting the channel and sticking it out through this probably 30-minute long boring video. So thank you guys. It's going to get more interesting from here, I promise. This is just kind of an intro to me and what this channel is going to ultimately be about. So apologize for the long-windedness, but it's going to be exciting, guys. So please like and subscribe, follow along. I want to thank you guys for following along. I appreciate it. Keep hustling, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.